when I said it'll help me do my podcast notes, that it saves me massive amount of time where I can just get bullets about things that I give it to go read this, summarize it, give me bullets. And he goes, well, now I'm already off looking outside to see if there's a deer or something. Yep, country folks. You say bullets.
Bullets? What?
You say bullets. That's where I went.
Help me with hip-hop. Let's get it right. Protect your patience. Day and night. Donna and David, the experts on your side. Help me with hip-hop. Let's get it right.
So, Donna, we've been talking about AI for a while now, and probably not going to get away from it for a while. But so it's all the rage, and there are some AI tools making AI fools. And
It's not often we get to rhyme like that, is it?
I know. There is a cool campaign that's coming out about AI that I think all the folks out here should take advantage of. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then we'll also talk about an annual cybersecurity attitudes and behaviors report that we've been holding on to for a little bit, waiting on the right time to drop it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, I think, an interesting conversation because that's always the challenge. Like, the challenge is, how do we change behaviors?
Mm-hmm. And
so we'll get into all that here
not easy.
Shortly. No, it's not. And it's a constant topic that not just you and I talk about, but in the MSP industry, we're always talking about that. You know, how do we get people to understand that cybersecurity is important and to what degree it's important? And even now, we still battle that. We still have people saying, well, what's the point? Yeah. Or, you know, several years ago, all we had to do was buy antivirus. Why are you selling me all these other things now? So it's a constant issue. But before we dive into all that, we want to remind everybody that we have the PriceSec Bootcamp coming up May 13 through 16. This is for building your privacy and security program within your organization. If you don't have one, or you want to improve one that you have, this is definitely the conference that you want to be at. Matter of fact, I don't even think I won't even call it a conference. It's not a conference.
It's not.
This is not a sitting and listen to people talk in general about stuff. Mm-mm. This is in-depth training. Bring your boots. Be prepared to do some work, because this is going to be an intensive training, and you will be expected to participate, and you will leave with action steps, and you'll leave with part of your stuff ready to roll. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody is like, wow, I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Like, if you got to learn this, you might as well learn it this way. That's it. That's what I'm going to say, is because, you know, as you know, we try not to make things too dry.
Nope. It won't be dry.
Mm-mm. And we also like to share information. We don't want to limit knowledge to anyone, or we wouldn't be putting this out for almost, 500 episodes.
500. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Nuts. So, anyway, it's been a long time, and we have continued on our mission to educate and get people information to do this. So 4 days with us. It's the entertainment levels there, because we get confused. You'll see it happen live.
Yep.
Yeah. So go to PriceSec Bootcamp. Wait, you do it.
Yeah. I'll tell you where to go. Yeah. So go to PriceSecBootcamp.com. That's PRISEC bootcamp.com. You can also go to helpmewithhipaa.com. You can go to thehippabootcamp.com. All those places will get you there.
GardenHQ.com. We got it on there too.
Yep. And if you are a member of HIPAA for MSPs or Cardin Club, we do have special pricing for you. If you not yet signed up for the boot camp and you want special pricing, then let us know and we'll tell you how to join Cardin Club or HIPAA for MSPs so you can get all the juicy stuff and a discount.
Yeah, because let's see, we're running out of time for the early bird. Ends April 13th. So TikTok.
Absolutely.
Well, this is when we get those. All of a sudden, it's almost full. Tama, everybody waits till the last minute. But anything you need, if it's not on the websites, let us know. We'll help you out. And we now have our approval officially from the Compliance Certification Board, pre-approved. So we've been reviewed by a CEU entity. Compliance Certification Board has pre-approved us for 29.4 hours of live training credit.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's more than most people need anytime. So you get all of that, and we've never had anybody tell us that we give you like the approval from them with our certificate. And if you have one of their certifications like I do and privacy compliance, but it's already built in. You just fill in your CPUs with your codes, and people have turned it in on others and never had a problem as far as we know. So 29.4. Yeah. CEUs.
That's a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get into some behavior and attitude study around cybersecurity. I like this kind of stuff. I like the behavioral analytics and psychology behind, changing behaviors, trying to get people to do the right thing for themselves when they don't know why they're doing it.
Well, it's because you had all those kids and you just sit there staring at them like, why are you making that choice?
I still do that.
They're adults now and you're still doing it. Yeah. Yeah. It's always fun to see. But, we've got all these AI tools, and it is making AI fools as well as fooling you with AI. So just know that. But this all kind of starts, and it'll kind of flow in a minute, that this is the National Cybersecurity Alliance. It does a lot of things, and these are the folks that do the National or Cybersecurity Awareness Month that we're always part of. They do data privacy, all these other things that are initiatives to get people educated and to stay safe online and better secure our businesses. And there's a lot of pieces and parts to it. So they did this report because they're like, well, in order to, if we say everybody's on the cybersecurity team, it's not like we just say it and then people go like, oh, okay, I'm going to take that seriously now. and so it is important to understand, what these people think about security, what they're doing, and then more importantly, why they are making those decisions. So if we don't know that, we are never going to make any more progress forward.
Yep.
I just don't see it happening.
Nope.
So behavioral science, we always say, developers that, creating code, creating content, creating all those things, it's part art, part science in what we do. And now it's also part behavioral science in what we do. And we just keep having to learn other things in order to do our jobs. But I really like the information in this report. They surveyed over 7,000 people around the world.
Wow.
So not just, me and David. And they were asking questions about password hygiene, like, how do you create them? Do you use the same ones or share them? And how do you keep up with them? And then, do you use MFA? Do you patch? Do you back up your data? And do you know how to recognize a phishing message and report it.
Mm.
So, some really good stuff. There's some stats that are on those things, and I don't know, David. When I saw this one, I'm like, we're gonna go through a few of those, and then we're gonna get into the AI thing because it was a whole section. But
Well, I already have a question though. Maybe you ran across this, but did they explain these things? Like, do you understand what password hygiene is and what patching is and what backing up data means?
well, yeah, they were asking very specific questions. Not that's
Okay.
me summarizing them in nerd talk.
Okay. I want to be sure because I know I have constant conversations about what these things actually mean.
Yeah, I was at a family thing, over the weekend for a funeral, and I know you too. But when you have people in, their late 70s, 80s saying, Donna, tell us what this AI thing is. And then when I explain it, they're like, well, I'm still back at I know what an A and an I is, but that's it. That's all I got out of it. And then you'll love one guy goes, well, when I said it'll help me do my podcast notes, that it saves me massive amount of time where I can just get bullets about things that I give it to go read this, summarize it, give me bullets. And he goes, well, now I'm already off looking outside to see if there's a deer or something. Yep, country folks. You say bullets.
Bullets? What?
You say bullets. That's where I went. But people, that's a big part of it. But the fact that those folks are asking about it, and wanting to understand it, it tells just how big it is. But it's like you can finally actually have a conversation with the computer in like real time. It will make decisions and give you things.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's getting better. Matter of fact, if we got time, I'm going to show you one that I ran across.
Uh-oh.
It'll blow your mind. But
All right. We'll do that in a moment then.
I won't talk about it on here because
you know what?
it might be worrying for folks.
Yeah. Enough of this is. So here are some of the other stats that are in that report. And of course, there's a link to the data about the report. It came out in September for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we just haven't had a chance to do anything with it. But here are some key things. 30% of participants expressed there is no point in protecting themselves since their information's already online. That's up 8%. And I mean, I know we both hear it all the time. What do you tell people when you hear it?
Usually I get the question before that is, how do we stop that from happening? Which is like, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
Because the bigger issue is that we're giving this data to other organizations, then they have to protect it. Like, we can't do that for them. The only thing we can do is put pressure on them, which honestly, I wish more people would. Like, I wish people would walk in to any place they're doing business and giving them this information and saying, I need to know more about your cyber hygiene. I need to know about your privacy and security program. And I need to know what you're doing with this data. Like, start pushing these organizations. I wish they would, but they won't. And they probably never happen. So, but the other thing is I tell people, look, you want to keep as much of it as you possibly can out of the hands of criminals. Just because it's already out there doesn't necessarily mean you've become a target yet. Keep doing everything you can to lower your risks. And so you can't just stop and say there's no point.
Yeah, it's that I always say, look, the more information about you, the more likely you are to become a bigger target.
Yeah.
Because it's clear you don't care.
Yeah.
And everything about you is not out there. If you have money in the bank,
Yeah.
everything about you is not out there. And, if you don't have money in the bank, maybe your credit is being impacted because you don't care.
Yeah. If you haven't yet been victimized, then you probably should continue protecting yourself as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, even if you have been victimized, now you know the importance of it. And, to make the assumption that it'll be okay is kind of like, well, somebody broke into the car, so I'm just going to leave the windows down now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to break the windows on the car. I love the ones where, people have the rag tops, right? The old school where it's just and then people just cut into it and steal things out of the car. And there'll be like a big piece of duct tape that says there's nothing valuable left in this car. It's all been taken. But they do cover it up. They don't just leave it open because there's other things that could happen.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, let's say somebody steals the keys to your house.
Mm-hmm.
What do? Well, there's no sense in locking the doors now. All the keys are out, It's like change your locks. I mean, there are certain things you can't change, obviously. They get a hold of, your social security number. You can't change that easily.
No.
But you don't just let everything hang out because there's something out there that people might know about you.
Mm-hmm.
And if truth be told, you probably overshared most of it anyway.
Yeah, social media is, Anyway, if everything's out there, they can become you more than you really want that to happen. And they can use that against people that you care about. Do you know how many grandparents are scammed because there's information out there about their grandchildren? Oh, they're being held hostage, and if you tell the police, we'll kill them, and you need to send us, $10,000. And it happens way too much. So if it's not you, what if it's your grandparents or your parents or your friends that are then, because of your information, they're able to use that against somebody else? So there's a million reasons that we could come up with.
Yeah, I had that conversation this past weekend around a bunch of family members. I didn't even know it had happened. And one of them got a call one day from somebody, and it was, your grandson is in jail, used his name, knew enough about him to convince the grandparent that he needed like $700 to get out of jail. And what did the grandparent do? They absolutely wired the money.
Yeah, and my mom was suffering the early stages of dementia when they got her. And it was a 5-digit number. At that point is when my sister's like, okay, I'm going to need to take over the money. But it's ridiculous what they do, but they don't care. They don't know who you are. They have their own experience, and their job is to get money out of you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a mark. And so keep that in mind, that it can be used in so many ways, that every new thing just puts another piece in the puzzle to envision who you are. So, and you don't want them to become you, because then it really gets hard, because everything becomes a very, very complicated thing. Your mere existence is now in question. So,
and I would say too, if you're the person in your organization that does provide training, cybersecurity training, cyber awareness training, any of that stuff, you definitely do not want to say anything to this. Like, you don't ever want to say, we're going to have the training, but there's really no point, because somebody has developed their stance on this based on what you've said, because they're looking at you saying, you know more than I do about this. And if you're saying there's no point, then I believe you.
So yes, there is that. So keep that in mind. Then here's some other numbers. Over a third of the people, so over 7,000 people. And so 35% included personal information in their passwords. So if I'm using the password and I put personal information in it, and then they steal the password and they tie that back to me, now they know even more.
Yeah.
And you put it out on social media, so now they can guess your password easier.
Yep. They know your date of birth. They know birthdays of your kids, maybe your anniversary. People are always putting dates, special dates within their passwords.
All right. And then, so they were asking about what you use in the password. 40% of the participants, 40, reported creating passwords using a single dictionary word or someone's name.
Ouch.
And it went across all generations because they looked at generations. They looked at, so many variables to see what it would be different. And, everybody's like, well, the younger people, they know. No, they're the highest. They're 52%.
Wow.
And they were like, I love this quote. If we had to summarize in a word what people think they know versus what they do, so they think they know something, they think they know how they're supposed to behave, but then what they actually do, the word would be do.
Yeah.
Do.
Yep.
It's like they don't add up. So if you think you know you should do this, but then you don't actually do it, again, why are they making these choices? It's there. But then to add to that, the majority, 83% who had training at their workplace or their school about security awareness, 83% said it was useful. I don't know what for. They said that it helped them recognize and report phishing messages. So many people think they know them until they get caught by one. They didn't know them. And we'll get to that in just a minute. They learned about using MFA. 45% learned it. That's 11% increase since 2023. So that's huge. We've got to get MFA. They're getting around the MFA because we're getting so much of it out there, but we still, again, get it out there. If you get used to doing that, because that's where we're going to have to go. Even if you do the passwordless stuff, it's got to be, something and something you have,
Yeah. And enforce it. There's still people out there that say, oh, I know I can do it. I know there's no cost involved in it except the cost of inconvenience, and I just don't want to do it.
Well, that is rule number 1. Security is not convenient in Donna's rules of security. 2 is it's not optional, but for some reason these people think it is. Anyway.
Yep.
But then this one, and this is for all of you vendors out there that should know this, but people expect that security is just built in. So if I use an app or I use a platform, they're the ones that are accountable for making sure that I'm secure. Not me. They are responsible. The vendor that makes the app and offers the platform for use, 90% of those 7,000 people said they expect the vendors are going to take care of it.
See, security is not there to protect you. It is there to have a level of protection there. So a good analogy would be, just because you have airbags and a seatbelt in your car, they don't necessarily protect you 100% of the time. It doesn't mean you can drive 120 miles an hour and slam into a tree and you're good. Like, it will help to protect you, but you still have to do your part to be a responsible driver.
Yes. Well, and if you have all of those things and then you don't wear the seat belt, or you only wear the lap part of it, not the top part. There's so many variables people try to use. It's a great analogy. But, I could make things as safe as possible and secure as possible, but you still have options. And if I take the options away and I make your password be one that I don't find on any list, which is one of the suggestions, is I make the password and I want to scan it against every password we can find on the dark net and then tell you that's not allowed, you got to make a new one. Well, you're not going to like that either. And if I tell you you have to use MFA, you're not going to like that either. But that's what they would have to do in order to, the 90% of you that think, well, it's their responsibility, they're going to have to do those things, which you're not going to like.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then let's get to the AI part because, tools and fools. It was really interesting because they were like, well, I don't know why, but we figured, maybe we should ask about AI. Yeah. Do people use it? Are they worried about the security or the privacy of it? Do they trust it? They wanted to know. So, and I think that this first number, over half reported not using any AI tools, 56%. My guess is they're using it, they don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not directly using it. They're indirectly using it.
Or they're using, it's Gemini. That's not AI.
Yeah. That could be it.
You don't know what it is, but there's a feature in something else they use that is using AI. They just don't know that's how that feature works.
Mm-hmm.
And but 56% say they're not using it at all. I think that number's high, that people are using it and don't even know. But then the ones that do know they're using it, 17% say they use it at home, 11% at work, and 16% say both. So of the 44%, 16% of those use it both at work and home. And then, of course, Gen Z, 72% use it.
Okay.
I expect that.
Yeah. And these are the same people that have the worst passwords.
Yes, they were the worst passwords by far. Had the worst passwords.
All right.
ChatGPT was the most popular generative AI tool. 65% of the ones who use it use that one. I use it. You use it. So at least it's some consistency in the experience and what they're using.
Mm-hmm.
But here we go. Now we get into the stuff that scares us about AI. More than half of people who are employed, so employed and students, not retirees, so we're going to leave them out. If you have a job and you're using AI, or you're a student and you're using AI, have 52% of employees and 58% of students had not received training on the safe use of AI. How are they going to use it safely if they don't even know what that is? So,
because there's no use anymore. What's the point?
Yeah, well, when it comes to AI, it's way more than just being out there on the internet, isn't it? Because, and I love how they actually said, a terrifying 38% admitted to sharing sensitive work information with AI without their employer's knowledge. And it was more prominent than 38% if you got it into the younger generations, not just Gen Z, apparently, the younger generations. All right, so that says to me, there's a lot, because we got people that don't know they're using it, people that do know they're using it, and, 38% of it saying, of the ones who will admit it, say, we know we're giving sensitive information away. How is that okay?
It's not.
It's not. But in people's minds, they're doing it. They know it's sensitive, but they haven't had any training, is my guess. Explaining to them where it's going, or the fact that you don't know where that data is going and you can never get it out.
Yeah.
That's the part that we're trying to get people to understand. And the fact that all of these vendors are just rolling out AI left and right, AI this, AI that, do this. Where's it going? Where's that information going? And what are you including?
Who knows?
I'm very leery, and there's some great things you can do with the AI. And there's some stuff where it's like, well, it's personal information, but I don't really care if it's in there. Or, we have the paid version of ChatGPT where we can say, don't include my stuff in your data. and hopefully they're honoring that. I mean, all you can do is hope that they're holding up their end of the bargain. But if you don't understand it, you cannot use it properly. You cannot use it securely. And making an educated decision about this stuff is more important than all of the other things that we've been talking about, really.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start letting AI make your passwords for you? It probably could do that. But then where's that data?
Yeah, may do a better job.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about them. Because of those numbers, that 38% number, they were like, we got to roll out some education. So the National Cybersecurity Alliance is now bringing AI Fools Stay Sharp for April.
Yeah.
April?
April.
Yeah. It's for April 1st, the week of April 1st. So March 31st through April 4th, it's AI Fools Week. Oh, it's kind of, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I mean, what else you going to use?
Yeah, sure. Some marketing person got hold of that.
Or they ask an AI. So it's just like CSAM, you get like social media things, you get posters, you get webinars, online education, all kinds of different things that tell you about how AI can do things. And it's like they're focusing on how to spot these scams, because we just did one not too long ago about the deep fakes and all of that. And you're right, George. I just got to tell you, you're right. You couldn't afford that much money. But risk of sharing with AI, what are you really risking if you do that? And then how to use it wisely. Oh, wait, those are all the things we need to learn.
Yeah.
So you can go to the National Cybersecurity Alliance. Of course, there's links on the webpage, and you can sign up to be a champion, just like with the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, CSAM, or I don't know. Anyway, whatever they're calling it, but April, maybe that's it. April. It's April. But you can go there and sign up to be a champion, or you can go there to get the information about the webinars they're doing and how to access. There's always like online training that you can do, and then use it. It's free, and you can use it in your business. You can use it with your family. Clearly, we know everybody wants to understand what this stuff does. So send it out to anyone once it starts coming out. And of course, we sign up to be champions of as many things as we can, whether it's Privacy Week, CSAM, or AI Fools Week. You know what I'm saying. So go there and sign up, because it is important. I'm going to do the training stuff. I'm going to see what they're sharing, and if they do the research here and learn ways to share that they think people will engage with. So I want to learn how they're putting it out there, even if maybe I do understand it. Hopefully I do understand everything that they're saying, since I've been doing the training on it. And we're going to end with a very, I don't know, when I read how this thing works, all the people that were in that survey who said they understood how to recognize phishing. We get phished all the time. We understand. What you don't understand is how good AI is going to make these campaigns.
Yep.
So this headline, experts warn of risk as Darkula, that is right, not Dracula, Darkula, DIY malware simplifies phishing. Cyber news.
For years, we've been talking about, ransomware as a service. Now there's phishing as a service. So And we've been doing simulated phishing as a service. I guess the bad guys decided, hey, let's just make this real.
I know, right? So, they've been out there helping them like craft things or giving them mailing lists and that kind of stuff. But this company from London, Netcraft, has gotten a hold of this thing and done an evaluation of it. And they say it's taking the capabilities a step further than it ever has, because they had done one before where he had a list of company brands that you could build. And it's much like the phishing tests where they'll give you this looks like such and such. So they've taken it above and beyond. So you buy this tool and you give it a URL of the brand you want to impersonate. So I want to impersonate the local doctor's office. And guess what? I have access to all their patient emails.
Yep.
Okay. Take this URL of the website to the local doctor's office, and it will take that URL. It will go generate everything they need with the branding from the website, create emails that look like stuff that would come from that company, whoever it may be, and then generates their admin panel to manage that campaign.
Wow.
I mean, who needs MailChimp?
They probably have better open rates than I get.
I know, right? Maybe I should get this to do my own email campaigns. Here, make it look like me because it is me. And it would look better than me. But it's using AI to generate these things based on the information it can pull about that brand. And then just builds the everything for them.
Yeah.
And they just give it the list that they go out and get, and it's insane. And the fact that AI is going to look at the way things are worded on that website. And there's ads on there, there's articles, it can reference other things, and it just takes in everything it can get off of that. It just scrapes it. We have stuff that does that all the time. And OMG, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I dread seeing how good these will look.
Yep. It's tough. It's not getting any easier. In fact, I was starting to do some content today to put out, and one of the things I was talking about was kind of a two-part thing. One is cybersecurity is never going to be any cheaper than it is today. The other part is cybersecurity is never going to be any easier than it is today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless we just get rid of the internet.
Yeah. You think about both of those from, a decade ago. It was so much cheaper a decade ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so much easier a decade ago. And people often think, well, with time, technology gets better and cheaper. Cybersecurity doesn't.
Yeah, well, the technology gets better and cheaper, which means the criminals can use it more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it. That's all it means.
Now it's that comment is true in that it does get cheaper, meaning that you have access to more tools. Like, I'm able to give my clients tools now that there is no way they could have afforded even 3 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just not possible. I couldn't even afford to even offer it, much less afford to sell it to you.
Yes.
Now I can, but it doesn't mean that the cost goes down of cybersecurity. It just means the availability of the tools comes into play. I'm able to just do more there, but the costs are not going to go down. And we're just talking about tools. We're not talking about the manpower that it takes. Even if we outsource to AI, all these other things that it can do, there's still a lot of things that the human has to touch. They have to look at, they have to verify, they have to do the training piece. There's so much more that still has to be done, no matter how much AI we throw in the mix for now.
Mm-hmm. And that's, and yes, we are using AI for cybersecurity. We're using it to defend, so it's fighting itself.
Yep.
What's new?
Yeah, but just here's the kind of crazy thought. If it's fighting itself, then it knows how to get around itself and it knows how to block itself.
It just,
So
keeps it's.
But we're talking hypothetical as if there's one big AI and there's not. But I'm sure some people kind of picked that up and was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There is more than one,
There is. There's a ton of them. Every time you turn around, there's a new one.
Yeah.
But oh my, is all I can say.
Yeah, and it's more all the time. And you saw when DeepSeek came out how quickly. I mean, it's like I had never seen anything spread that fast except a virus. I mean, people jump all over this stuff now. They're eating it up. They want to know, especially if somebody says this is the best, newest thing out. People jump all over it.
Yeah, here's me and you still sitting here like,
No. Now, I've used it, but I've used it indirectly. Like I'm using it through other tools like Perplexity, and I've got some other tools that have an integration into that so I can use it, but I am not going directly to it.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the safest way to use a lot of these things. Like let's let a bigger third-party entity that has better cybersecurity team and all this stuff, let's get them to integrate it on the back end so we can have access to it without playing with fire directly.
Well, don't just assume they have a better cybersecurity.
Let's don't do that.
Yeah. Let's don't.
So it's a mess. It really is. But you do have to take your own, responsibility for your own stuff and the way that you handle your own cybersecurity personally and inside of your own business or practice. You can't just outsource everything, and you can't just trust that everybody's keeping you protected. And even if they are, it still doesn't mean that you can completely abdicate your responsibility.
No, it does not. You are correct, David.
So, well, we can end on that. I'm happy. All right, folks, that is our show for today. Join us again next week. And remember, for Donna and myself, the HIPAA is not about compliance. It's about patient care.
You've been listening to the Help Me with HIPAA podcast, hosted by Donna Grindle and David Sims. The show created to help you with HIPAA. For more information or to ask us a question, visit our website at helpmewithhipaa.com. Neither Donna Grindle or David Sims are attorneys, and they do not offer binding legal advice concerning regulatory compliance. The information in this podcast should not be relied upon or construed as legal advice in any way. Consult your attorney for legal advice concerning compliance with HIPAA regulations.